Welcome back to the third lesson. Today we are talking about how to sheathe and unsheathe a sword. I know I promised that this will be an episode about cutting, but there were quite a few people that asked me, actually, how do you first sheathe and unsheathe a sword? Because it is quite important. And my Ryu that we practice, Tuyama Ryu, Nakamura Ryu, even Sarata Ryu, talks about sheathing. Everything happens from the sheathing and the unsheathing of the sword. So this is a very important thing for us to learn. This is also what I had to practice for almost an entire year before I properly understood what this whole Ryu is about. As you can see, I just did a sheathing, and every sheathing is a little bit different. There's different Ryus that teach them different ways for different reasons. And the reason I did the one that I just did is just because it is the one I fancy, but it's not the correct technique. The correct technique of what I would suggest anybody learn is this. When you have your sword in front of you, you are going to go into battle now. Our Ryu talks very much about the philosophy of not having your sword drawn. We are not prone to attack. We are never the aggressors. We are always these that defend. However, once you draw your sword, it means death. Either death to the person or death to yourself. But it only ends in death, meaning that the stakes are very high. Therefore, we never try to draw our swords unless absolutely necessary. So, how do you draw your sword then properly? First technique is this. When you have, as I showed, carrying your sword on your left hand side with your blade pointed upwards, you have the back end of your handle basically in line with the center of your gravity, basically in line with your belly button. So what you do then is you still put your thumb, the correct place it is, and you put your fingers like this forward. What you then do is you, instead of pulling your sword out like I see a lot of people do, you push your sword out. This push happens and coincides with your saya going backwards. So if you do it correctly, you will do this. Pull out till you can't anymore, and then you pull by pushing your shoulder a little bit forward, not a lot, it shouldn't be exaggerated. It should just be this, your shoulders should be exactly the same way, and you pull your saya backwards. This should release your sword almost completely. From here, you flick your sword over forward. So from it being in line with your belly button, you push your saya forward. Basically, your sword and your saya comes forward. The distance between your obi and your kurikata and your kurikata and your tsuba should be exactly the same. 4 spaces or hand width apart, a hand width apart. You pull your tsuka forward by having the end of the tsuka still be in line with your belly button, which is also not wrong. That is 2 methods of the same thing. So the flick will work like this. You extend, you pull out, you pull your sword completely out. It is clear here. It's not in my tsuba anymore. My hand is still on the tsuba, and I flick forward. And this flick will have a difference depending on what Ryu and what style you practice. In some styles, the flick is very exaggerated, very quick, and it is also a hard downwards cut. And this will be for the idea that if someone is also drawing their sword or they're coming at you, this is an immediate threat for them and this is an immediate cut that they have to protect against. However, as I said, we are never the aggressors, and most of the time we will only draw our sword once we are about to die, we're in mortal danger. So we only draw our swords to protect ourselves or to kill the enemy that is going to kill us. So by that, we can just draw our sword naturally, and after you've drawn your sword, just flick it forward into a chudan stance, which is this. This is your chudan stance. From here, you can do anything else. You can go up to a high stance, you can go to a low stance, you can do anything, but this is the stance you go out. So a good unsheathing will look like this. As you saw, the moment my sword comes in front of me and I am in chudan, my hand should already be there to catch it. If you do it very slowly, it will look like this and come down. But in a real life situation, you want to almost have your sword come to standstill and your hand almost immediately reaching your handle. So from chudan, this is now when you sheath your sword. There's different type of sheathings, but the main idea is you want that back in your scabbard. And the main thing is that you can always go into Chudan most of the time. So from Chudan, this will be your sheathing. You'll have your sword in Chudan Kumai, and you'll leave your left sword. Your sword shouldn't be moving at this point. If you leave it, it should be staying in the exact same place. You put your hand on your tsuba, and then what you do, which is very important, is you basically close your koiguchi. Your koiguchi is this opening. It's called the calf's mouth in Japanese, which is basically the opening of your scabbard. You close it by bringing your fingers over. So as you can see, there's a slight bit of gap right here that you can see. It is just faint enough that you can see there's a black mark, but it is still quite closed. This is so that you can guide your sword back into your scabbard without stabbing yourself or cutting yourself. So after you did that, you closed your mouth, you bring your saya a little bit forward, and you bring it horizontal with yourself as much as possible. You bring your sword backwards to your face, and you drop it right next to your hand, your arm, your shoulder, and you place it on your hand. Now, in a real sense, you should basically be able to see that your saya and your sword is at the correct and the same linear position, meaning they're parallel to each other. This is unfortunately not always the case because everybody is different. I've seen people with big muscles come in and they cannot do that no matter what they do. I've seen people that have very long arms that is very difficult for them. And myself, I also struggle with this, but that just might be because I'm lazy. Now, the thing that you did, after you did this, you go back into this position. Your saya is a little bit pulled out as I said. You pull your saya back. If it can't go back, that is also fine. And then you push your sword forward, just like you drew. And as you can see, as I pull my sword forward, I obviously bring my sword forward. It glides with the tip of my sword over my hand. By doing that, it does feel like it's going to stab you. You never want to jerk your sword back because you're going to impale yourself. But if you just glide slowly over it, you'll feel that the tip just grazes you. It will never stab you and it will never cut you because this edge is quite dull. As you did that, you go forward and you're at this position. Now you're right at that edge of your thumb where it now becomes basically just skin. This is where it becomes very important for you to know that it needs to be closed. Because if it's open, you never know if you're dropping into the saya or next to the saya, and you might start pushing back and stab yourself in the hand. So this is why it's closed. By having it closed, you are forced to put your sword down, down, down until it drops. And it will drop from up here to down there, which is basically right over the hole of the saya. You cannot mistake the hole of the saya anymore. You can now all of a sudden push your sword back into the saya and it will close properly. By the time it gets to this point, you can basically either leave your hand and then push the saya, push your hand back, or you can go from here and you can open your saya, open quite a bit, and then just close it. This also goes in tandem with this. After you did this, you are closed. Your sword not only goes into the saya, but your saya meets it at around, I'd say, the last quarter of your sword or the last third of your sword. You bring your saya to your sword. There's also, if you were standing in this position, you weren't just standing in this position, you bring your leg up. It becomes one movement and you close there. From there, your tsuba should be aligned with your stomach, with your belly button again. And after that, you can just bring it back onto your side where it will be stable. Meaning a good unsheathing and sheathing will look something like this.